Welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Long Shot. Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron is in it, and it's funny because Randall Park is in this, and we just watched a movie with Randall Park. You Are Always Be My Maybe, where she was a celebrity chef and he was working for an air conditioning, and they hit it off. Well, in a similar fashion, I believe it's Charlize Theron's character is running for presidency. So she's one of the most influential women in the world, and I'm assuming that Seth Rogen is some sort of writer that she hires to write speeches for her as she runs for president, and sparks fly. I think they used to be old friends. That's what I'm getting from this. 7.1 on IMDb, so should be really good. Maybe full of a lot of laughs, I'm hoping. But it just reminded me that considering Randall Park is in this, and I just saw that movie, very similar type thing. But who knows? That's what IMDb tells you. 2 hours and 4 minutes, so I'll get into it a little bit here and tell you a really good idea of what the synopsis is about, and then ultimately what I think, and see if it's worth watching. So stick around. I'll be back. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Long Shot. We're at the 57:07 mark. And so far so good. I don't know if I mentioned it's 2 hours and 4 minutes long. So it's a little bit longer, a little bit of a longer movie. But to get into it, so Seth Rogen plays a writer for more of a small town paper. And that's why Randall Park was his boss, but that was only a small part, so unfortunately he's not in the rest of it. But anyway, he writes for a small paper who gets bought out by a big conglomerate, and of course he wants to make a stand, and so he quits. That's his kind of story. But he's kind of like yeah, that's what he is. He's a writer and stands up for what he believes in. Whatever. Charlize Theron is the Secretary of State, and just found out that the president will not run for re-election in the next term and is going to endorse her. So she's going to start her presidential campaign. And that's her backstory. They actually knew each other, the two of them, from when they were kids. They lived right next door. She was his babysitter. So there's a little bit of history there on everything that was going on. And she meets him at a party and finds out he's a writer now, so she starts reading some of his stuff, and on her political campaign she needs a writer to help improve her appearance. So they have this rating scale on different qualities that a presidential candidate can have. She's a little bit lower on humor, and she needs to increase that, so she's looking for a writer to add some punchiness to her speeches and things like that. So she thinks he might be a good candidate and hires him. So now he has joined her. She's still the Secretary of State, but she's going around trying to get something passed to create a platform for her to launch into her presidential campaign. And he's going with her to all these different countries to help write all these speeches. That's really what it is, and that's back to how they're connected as kids, and now they're reconnected as adults in their careers, and you can see that they're starting to, build another relationship together and get a little bit closer at this point in the movie. Nothing substantial, but googly eyes is what's going on. So an interesting plot because it's very original. I like that. And there are some good one-liners so far. Seth Rogen, of course, is usually pretty good with that. Sometimes Seth Rogen a little too much. Not in this one. He's keeping it toned down, and he actually says those words in this movie. So that's probably where I got that. Toned down enough that it's not over the top, and when he says something, it is kind of funny. And she's doing a pretty good job as well. So that's really it. That's where we're at. I think it's I don't know. We'll just keep watching it here. I got, I don't want to give you too much more. I got you on the plot. So far, so good. Entertaining, creative, and original. So I'll get back to it, and I'll see you at the credits and give you my final thoughts. So stick around. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Long Shot, and it's kind of what you think it would be. O'Shea Jackson Jr. is in this. I just want, as the credits are rolling, I see his name. He played Seth's best friend in the movie. I liked him. I thought he was a pretty cool character. Always there for his friend. I kind of like that thing. So that's out of the way. That's the only other person. I mean, there's some other actors in here, but smaller roles. This was big enough to mention. And movies like this, they're good. There are a lot of good laughs in it, I think. But I think a lot of these this is your movie. Let me back up real quick. This is your princess wants to not marry a prince kind of thing. You know what I mean? Charlize Theron is the Secretary of the State, going to be running for president, and where we have our commoner Seth Rogen, who's a journalist, doesn't own a suit kind of guy. All right, that's just like you've seen these types of movies before, where the princess doesn't want to marry the arranged prince from the other country, or so on and so forth, and wants to marry somebody outside the royal family or whatever. That's essentially what this is. As I said, they started to see sparks fly a little bit in the beginning, and then it's like, how are they going to make this work? Are they gonna get together? And if they do, how does this relationship work as she goes on a political run? And to think of Seth Rogen characters, and for the most part, that's kind of his guy here, and now he's going to be with her as she's running for president. Is that really going to work? And that's what the movie's really about. And as you can imagine, there's going to be some parts where they're funny, especially with them two in it. She's funny and he's funny, so you got some good jokes that'll make you laugh. But inevitably, like every movie like this, there comes that point where I think they struggle. The director, the producer, the writer, whoever struggles with it, because you've written this plot that now has to take a serious tone, and they always fail at continuing the laughs through this serious part. So as you can imagine, their relationship starts off great, and that the whole first part of the movie is great up until that point. Then of course there's got to be some problems, some obstacles, some things to overcome, to create the drama, to say, oh, should they be together, that kind of thing. Well, it's that point where the movie goes downhill. We don't get the laughs, the emotional side comes out of it, not the funny side. And that happens in all of these kinds of movies. So that's my only thing, and I think, I'm sure it's really hard to write or, do whatever in that piece to make sure people are continuing to laugh. It's there, but I'm sure there are some things in there that we should be laughing at, but you're feeling the emotion of the movie or the scene that's going on there. So that's my only opportunity, and it's not specific to this movie, it's all movies like this. Overall, I enjoyed it. I liked it. More on the 6 or 7 side than on a maybe 8 or 9 side. I'm surprised it's a 7.1. It's also somewhat political, as you can imagine. They talk about Democrats versus Republicans and then religion. So I'm actually surprised that it got to a 7.1, because a lot of people get put off by that kind of thing. It's not over the top or heavily involved in politics, but it is mentioned, and usually when that's mentioned, forget it. So, but I think 22,000 people rated it that. Let me just double check that. So, I mean, that's pretty substantial when you're talking about 22,684 rated at a 7.1. So, a lot of people really enjoyed it, and maybe you will too. I think I've given you enough information. I liked it. I like Seth Rogen. Like I said, he wasn't over the top, so he was enjoyable. And I think that's the main thing that I was looking for in this one. A couple of laughs as well. So that's it. That's all I got for you. If you watch it, let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you're a Seth Rogen fan, you're definitely going to watch it. It doesn't matter. And that's it. Leave me comments, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'll include links below so that you can go ahead and watch it if you're intrigued from my awesome review right now. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.